Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan will be available. Let's see how the Bulls play. Do they bring in that heart that they played with against the Milwaukee Bucks? We're going to talk about it all and more. Have some fun. See how you guys are feeling right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the comment. Let's go ahead and get into the content here. Man, Bulls fans, it's crazy, man. This got DeMar DeRozan back, so that's however you view that. DeMar DeRozan will be back in this game. He is available today, and we're seeing if the Bulls can keep up the energy that they played with in the game against the Milwaukee Bucks. You know how they were able to attack that team, how they're able to come in and just play that way. Can they come in and do that again? Right now, it's not necessarily about winning or losing all the time when with the Chicago Bulls in this roster, especially without where they currently are. But you want to see the style of play, right? Do they play with that heart? Do they play with that determination? Do they move the ball around? Do they get out in transition? Do they look like a team that is engaged? Right? For too long, this team has seemed disengaged throughout the whole roster in different times. So you want to see that, and we'll see what happens with it, man. We'll see what happens with this overall. Right now, I feel like coming into this game, I feel pretty excited. I won't lie. The last game really did a lot to kind of restore faith a little bit in the Chicago Bulls. I'm not going to say it's all the way back or I expect the Bulls to get a lot of wins because it's not really about that. Like I said, just the fact of if you can play tough, if you can play scrappy, right? If you can execute well, if you can seem like you're a team that cares, that gives a damn, that's really gets you half the way there with the Chicago Bulls fans, right? And so that's what you want to see from this team, if possible, is just a team that can come in and execute properly and take care of business. That's it. Take care of business. And hopefully this team can, man. Like I said, it's more than enough reason for hope with this team. There's more enough reason to think that they can do it. You just got to see them do it consistently. That's one thing that we haven't always seen with this team is the execution of it. We know that they have the capability to, but do you execute it like that, right? But players that have really stood out, Patrick Williams is on a really good 6-game streak. Kobe White's on a streak as well, right? Ayo Dosunmu, who's been playing pretty solid all season, right? You want to see those three players, of course, play really well again because those players are as of right now the players that you look at as definitely being part of the Chicago Bulls future. So you want to see those players execute and be a big reason why we win and why we play well. Vooch, who seemed reinvigorated. Now, it's going to be key to watch Vooch this game. He was aggressive last game, played really well. But now that DeMar DeRozan is back, you got those same players kind of fighting over the same spots on the floor. So it's going to be interesting to see the balance of that. And then DeMar, right? You want to see how DeMar comes back in and seeing the team play with the energy that it did. Did that reinvigorate DeMar DeRozan watching it from the sideline? Does he come in and maybe understand a little bit different of how he can kind of help strengthen and empower those younger guys? So those are all things that are going to be storylines for me in this game and see how the Bulls execute in those areas. And let's hope that they can get it done and that we can get it done. If we can play well, play with heart, execute and get a dub, that's perfect. That's perfect. Let's hope that that's the case, man. Let's go and see how you guys are feeling. Sandroko says, go Bulls. What's going on, fam? Glad to have you in the building. Archangel, Javon Carter needs to pull his mouth guard out of his shorts again because obviously that shit was good luck. Wow. But hey, facts on that. Facts. Shay says, make Zion play defense. Listen, I mean, yeah. Ideally, that's exactly what you want to do. Bulls Daily in the building says, if we can run. I mean, here's the thing, right? You don't want to run just to run. But you got to get turnovers. You got to rebound the ball well, which we did out-rebound the Milwaukee Bucks. When you do those things and play solid defense, absolutely get out there and run. Shay says, I don't know if you remember, but Patrick Williams normally gets a career high in block shots on Zion. Normally, no, he's done that one time. Come on, Shay. Shay, why do you embellish so much, bro? Like, come on, man. What we doing here? What we doing here, bro? Jello YT says, just me, or do I feel nice for this game? I mean, listen, with the way that the Bulls played last game, it makes sense to come into this game with a little bit more excitement. So Droko says, is DeMar back? Yes. Billy Donovan has said that DeMar DeRozan will be available tonight for the Chicago Bulls against the New Orleans Pelicans. So we'll see. We'll see how he plays, man. We'll see how he plays. I really want to see him just play well, and the team overall, right? You just want to see the team come in, execute, that type of stuff. Bentley says best Bulls coverage out there. Listen, I'm trying, man. I just want to be the best that I can be, and hopefully deliver you guys some really good content, and hopefully you guys continue to enjoy it. That's all my goal is, man. Zach and the bar need to get traded. Let's see what this young core can do. A lot of people sharing that sentiment. Anthony Vargas says, game day, Bulls need a win today. How are you? I'm doing mostly okay. But yeah, listen, if the Bulls can get a dub, that's the most important. Well, not the most important thing. Most important thing is development, evaluation, things like that. But, we'll see. Yellow YT also chips in. To be honest, I'd rather trade DeMar than Zach any day, but what's DeMar's value? Exactly. And keep in mind, Zach LaVine wants to get traded. So there's that as well. LaVine is only bringing negativity to the squad. You can obviously see it. He gave it up, and it's affecting team morale. Without them, they are better. We'll see. Let's see how they play today. Because with the Bulls, as soon as you start thinking you got one thing figured out, 8 new problems persist. I'm actually excited. I'm excited to see if they stick to the same play style, and if DeMar will buy in. That's from Quentin from Let's Talk Bulls. Yeah, definitely agree with you on that one. Like if DeMar can come in and play, the one thing with that is though, is like, and we've always talked about this, DeMar is not a good off-ball player. That's one thing that really helped the Chicago Bulls against that game with the Milwaukee Bucks. Almost everybody who was out there could play off-ball, and so we'll see. We'll see if they have a similar game plan, a similar style and execution. I do think that's the best way to go for the Chicago Bulls, and we'll see. Zach for Reeves and Rory would be a banger. Well, keep in mind, I saw that report came out, and I dropped the video, and everybody took that as saying Zach LaVine for DeMar Zach LaVine for Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. It's like, no, it takes more than that. The salaries don't even work with just those players. That's just the base of what the Bulls would want to start that conversation. So you're going to get even more back. But again, now with coming out that Zach LaVine has no trade value, I don't know if you even get that. Gonna need a big game from P. Will and Io tonight. Hopefully Phillips gets some run with DeRozan returning. We'll see. We'll see. Brian says he's kind of mad that DeMar's playing. Listen, talent, you want the talent out there. We'll see. I don't know if the New Orleans Pelicans have a good one-on-one defensive team. That's a fair question to raise. I think about the Pelicans. I think that's a fair question to raise. Alex R. No, I don't want no one from the Lakers. Lakers are dumb trash. That's funny. Zach's foot is sore because he keeps dribbling the ball up. Wow. You know what? I'm surprised that's the first time I've seen that joke. Really surprised. Really surprised it's the first time I've seen that joke. That is the next level joke. That's a great joke. LaVine needs to be traded ASAP. He's messing up team morale. We'll see with that. We'll see. What up, Haize? I always knew Alex was a solid role player, but I'm shocked at how well he's been playing offensively, but he's definitely expanded his offensive back. Yeah, he came into it, right? In the preseason, we heard that Alex Caruso focused this season on wanting to bring the offensive intensity to match what he brings defensively. And for all intents and purposes, he's basically done that. And you gotta give credit for somebody who has never really been a big-time scorer and still really isn't to a degree, but he makes the right shots. He makes the big shots. He's averaging the most points per game in his career, but he's also shooting the ball 47% from three-point range. And this is not just one of those times where somebody's averaging a career-high percentage, but they're taking less. He's taking 3.6 three-pointers per game. That is the highest in his career. The only other highest he's done was his first year in Chicago with 3.1. And he hit that at a 33% clip. So Alex Caruso is definitely in his offensive bag right now. And you're seeing a level of confidence from him as well, that he understands how he can impact the basketball game. DeMar's back, I think. Time for no movement without the ball. I'm worried. Hey, that's a fair concern to have. Reginald Short says, do you think the Bulls will move around instead of standing still while guys go one-on-one? Listen, that's one thing that I love to see in last game. That's one thing I bring up every single live stream, every single time I talk about the Bulls on the court product, is the lack of movement without the ball, because it's disgusting. It's honestly disgusting. Y'all see when people had the dunk in OT against the Bucks, everybody celebrated except Zach. I didn't see that, but listen, I don't care about that. I don't give a shit. He's on the sideline. Would Malcolm Brogdon be good on this team? I don't know. I think Caruso's better. Like I'd rather have Caruso for where this team is right now. With DeMar back, do you want to see Io or Caruso as starter? Probably Caruso. Yeah, have Caruso out there. People out there with him as well. There you go. MC Season says, "What's good, Haize? Hope you had a great day so far. It's been mostly okay." Thule says, "Zach for Roy and Reeves Bulls go 82-0. Lay off the cocaine. Stop doing it. When you see powder, stop sniffing it. Yo, scrap you Bulls for the rest of the year. I mean, we'll see with that." Alex R in the building says, "Favorite Bulls channel, man. Keep up the good work." Well, I appreciate that. I'm trying. I try my best. Almost 1,000 straight days. That's crazy. That's wild. We have 90 days left until I'm at 1,000 straight days of posting content. Ain't nobody else in the game doing it like that. I don't know if you guys saw too. So I posted 48 videos and 49 live streams in November. That's 97 episodes. 97 episodes in 30 days. That's crazy. Nobody else is doing it like that. There's nobody else doing it like this in the game. It just is what it is. I am the most consistent Bulls channel around, period. And that's listen, it is what it is there. I'm taking my 3 days off after I hit day 1,000 though. Haize, I want to see how Billy coaches tonight, you and everybody, right? Because he coached a hell of a game. He'll coach a hell of a game against the Bucks. Hell of a game. He's looking extra Irish today. I always look Irish. I'm a ginger with freckles. Like you can't get more Irish than that, fam. Like not as a black Irishman. Like that's about as Irish as I can personally get. Is DeMar starting? I would imagine. Billy Donovan kind of already alluded to that whenever Zach and DeMar were back healthy, they would be starting. So Vanderbilt, Roy, and Reeves was no, that's you don't even get remotely close to that. Like, no, you're not getting all that back. Come on now. This ain't 2K, y'all. This ain't 2K. Jack Holland says there's no chance Billy runs the same lineup and benches DeMar, right? None. None. You know, if he did that, if we get the starting lineup announced and DeMar DeRozan is coming off the bench, I would have to run back so much that I've ever said about Billy Donovan because listen, that would be one of the boldest coaching choices he's ever made as a head coach in the NBA. Is doing something like that. If he were to have the goal and balls to bench DeMar DeRozan, I'd have to take back a lot of the crap I've talked about Billy Donovan over the years. So we'll see. We'll see. The Frozen playing tonight too. That's funny. Shay said, "Is your birthday on Wednesday?" No, my birthday is actually Tuesday. Birthday's Tuesday. Samuel in the building says, "What's up, Haize? You think Coach fumbles being the that DeMar is back, and do you think rookie plays tonight?" I don't know if Julian Phillips plays tonight. If he does, it's probably going to be garbage time. But we'll see. We'll see. Reginald Short says, "You trying to get a James?" No, James Harden's beard is trash. Like that's a trash ass beard. So no, I have more structure to my beard than James Harden. Don't get me wrong. I have love DeMar. I just hope we don't rely on him all game. The way we played against the Bucks has to be the game plan every single game. Let's go Bulls. As I mean, well, you can't have the same exact game plan every single game. We don't have this type of talent to have the same game plan. We do have to adjust to a degree. But I will say this: like the style of play is definitely something that you want to see be consistent for sure. JK says, "What do you think it'll take for Billy to bench DeMar and Zach for them not to be available to play the game of basketball?" That's probably what it will take. Brian says the fuck happened to inside the Chicago Bulls. He realized that he was not cut out for this job and he actually sucked as a content creator and that he didn't actually watch Chicago Bulls games. And it was made evident every time he tried to post a video and he decided to take his bitch ass on somewhere. I mean, listen, that's where he went. It is what it is. Alex R says, I still don't understand why we picked up Billy Donovan instead of Kenny Atkinson. He was not good in OKC. He had prime Russ and Paul George and lost in the first round. You can't say he wasn't good overall as a coach. Now, he's a coach that completely relies on his stars. Now, here's what I'll say is that Billy Donovan was the best coach on the market that time, as far as names and known. And the Bulls had a chance to bring in the best coach out in the coaching free agency market, and they were going into a development phase, and they brought him in. Now, one could say that they never had quite the roster that really fits and works the best for Billy Donovan, but it is what it is. Optimistic Bulls fans say you got to realize the report from Woj is cap. No, it's not cap. That's not cap at all. And that's the thing. Like people use these phrases without really understanding. Like that's not what the definition of cap even means. There isn't a market for Zach LaVine right now. Now you can say that you want to argue with his reasoning, but whether it's the December 15th date, whether it's the fact that teams now also, just like the Bulls, want to see, all right, how much does Zach LaVine actually impact winning? Let's look at these next 3 games and see what the Bulls look like without Zach LaVine. Or it's like, do we really want to commit that money? But right now, that's not cap. It's true. There's no market for Zach LaVine. If the Bulls were to try to trade Zach LaVine right now, the deal that they would have to take to make that done would be a deal that absolutely would not make sense. You'd almost rather just keep him. So no, that's not cap. That is actually indeed facts, but it's reasons why that's true. So Ime was not the best coach in the market because at that time he was an unproven commodity. So no, that's not. Now we know that he was the best coach on the market, but then in the context of what we knew, we didn't know. There was no reason to believe that Ime Udoka was the best coach on the market at that time. Hey, Haize, I don't expect us to win this game. I just hope Billy let the young guys play and don't rely on DeMar DeRozan. I mean, Immortal Beast, we'll see. You said it yourself, Billy Donovan was not suited for the roster he was. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. Now, one could say that, I know they talked to development and things like that when they brought in Billy Donovan. And the thing that I'd say more is probably evaluation. Maybe that's the thing. They said development, but maybe the thing is that they looked at Billy Donovan and said, hey, Billy Donovan may be a good guy to evaluate Wendell, to evaluate Laurie, to evaluate Daniel Gafford, to evaluate that and see what we have in those guys. Still don't know if that's still true, right? I'm not saying that's true, but maybe they just use they use the word phrasing there as far as why Billy Donovan was suited at that time. I would hate to see us trade one of our guys within the Eastern Conference unless it's a clear win. I don't want to see a guy we used to have on our squad kill us, or Miami or NY several times. I don't why are you guys worried about that? I don't give a shit. It'd be different if and that's not to say come at you harsh, Jamal. But to me, I don't care about that right now. It'd be different if the Bulls were competing for something. And then we're saying, hey, we traded him to Eastern Conference. Boom, we're going to see this team. Boom, we turn around and see this team in the second round, and then we get eliminated. Right now, where the Chicago Bulls are, their only concern needs to be getting the best package back possible. It does. If that's the Eastern Conference team, hell, if that's another Central Division team, cool. Because right now, the one thing that matters the most for the Bulls is getting the best deal absolutely possible. If you can get some young players, if you can get future assets in the draft, whatever that is the one thing. You don't need to worry about, oh, it's Eastern. We don't want to trade him Eastern. We don't want to trade him to this. We don't want him to get a title in LA. All that stuff right now for where the Bulls are does not matter. It doesn't matter. Because the Bulls, where they are right now, they just trying to dig themselves out of the hole, the pits of hell, which we are in. Honestly, if the Bulls look great this week, it'll definitely make it harder to trade Zach. Exactly. And that's why Woj did say, the best thing for everybody involved right now is for Zach LaVine to be on the court playing good basketball. And so, it is what it is when it comes down to that. Alex R in the building says we should just trade LaVine and DeMar for young players and picks. No reason to try to compete with this squad. I mean, we're not competing at all. So I mean, I don't know if they're going to move DeMar. We'll end up seeing what that happens. But yeah. Sad to see Zach go. He improved more than anyone in the Bulls jersey, going from mainly being a dunker to a three-level offensive beast. I mean, Via, yes, he has been a beast at times, but the thing is too that you got to look at with Zach is still the flaws that are major there. Yes, he can be one of the best scorers in the NBA. We know what Zach can be as a scorer, and it's still when Zach LaVine is going scoring wise and gets in that rhythm, it is one of the most beautiful things to watch. But even with that said, it's still the basketball IQ things. It's the dribbling ball off the foot. It's the turnover things, the coming up in clutch situation type things. That it is what it is. I still like Zach LaVine as a player, and don't get me wrong, I wish that it would have worked out here. It didn't, and it is what it is. Then I don't care where they trade LaVine or DeMar, as long as we don't get fleeced and get value in return, I'll be happy. That's kind of the right mindset to look at this. And winning, lose, like you just want to get what you need out of this trade. Cannon says, I don't like any of the mock trades with two teams. Hoping we can get a better deal and get creative with maybe a third team. I mean, that may have to work as well. That definitely may have to be something that you have to do as well. Is trying to get a little bit creative, right? As far as bringing in the third team, especially if some of the assets that you're offered aren't necessarily ones you want on your core long term. Jamal says, I generally agree with what you said, Haize. I'm thinking more about Orlando. Watching Franz Wagner makes me shake my head. But yes, if an Eastern Conference team is going to give us real value, cool. Yeah, and I get that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the thing that hurts the most in the Orlando trade isn't the Wendell Vooch thing, because like to me, Vooch is still a better player than Wendell Carter Jr. But giving up those 2 first-round picks, that's definitely what hurts, right? Because I don't think the Bulls would have drafted Franz Wagner. I want to be clear there. I don't think the Bulls would have drafted Franz. But what he's turned into, if you have that on this team, man, that'd be crazy. Do you think it's possible that the Bulls have a trade for LaVine worked out already, and that's why he's sitting despite the Woj report? I don't. I don't believe so. I mean, I'm not going to say it's completely impossible. It's not the vibe I'm getting from the people that I talk to that are close to the team. But I'll say this: nothing's impossible, right? Nothing's impossible. So this is the NBA. We know that deals get done behind closed doors all the time, and so that's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. We'll see if Zach comes back and ends up playing for 10 games in a row, and it is what it is. There, we'll see. Optimistic Bulls fan says Zach used to be in the same tier as SGA and Booker. He hasn't taken that next step. Correct. Like if you look at the start of Devin Booker and Zach LaVine's careers, they're very, very similar. They were very close. And then Devin Booker kicked it up to that next notch. He just did, man. And it sucks. It sucks. I would take Franz Wagner in a heartbeat or Jonathan Isaac. Oh, listen, no, you what? Why would you take Jonathan Isaac? Right, Jonathan Isaac is literally a walking injury waiting to happen. Like Jonathan Isaac is the only difference between Lonzo and Jonathan Isaac is that Jonathan Isaac has been able to get back on the basketball court for like 12 games over the last couple of years. But I don't know if I feel the same way you do on that one. But I mean that's cool too. It's not to say that you're like horribly off or anything like that. Um, I just personally don't know if it would have went that way. Who would the Bulls have took if not Franz Wagner? Huh. That's a big one. Let's see. So at that point, they would have still had Wendell. They would have had Zach. So they probably would have had Kobe. So I don't think they would have gone point guard either. Maybe they still would have brought in Lonzo Ball that offseason. So maybe they do look at a 3 and a wing. You know what? Because they had traded Wendell, they brought in maybe Kai Jones. They would have looked at. I don't remember where did that pick end up falling at. I don't remember exactly where that pick ended up falling at. Um, you know what? Honestly, the Bulls probably would have taken. I don't know. That's a really good question. I have to spend some time thinking on that. That's actually a really, really good question. Who would the Bulls have taken in the 2021 draft? Who was still around at that time? Let's take a look. So when the Bulls picked, so Kuminga would have been off the board. So Alfred Sengun would have still been on the board. Would the Bulls have had the balls to take Alfred Sengun? Man, could you imagine had we walked away from the 2021 draft with Alfred Sengun and Ayo Dosunmu? I'm a Sengun guy. I don't know if you guys know that or not. I love Sengun. If you would have walked away from the 2021 draft with Sengun and Ayo Dosunmu, per Jamal's question here, man, that would have been a hell of a draft. That would have been a hell of a draft. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now I'm going to be stuck thinking if the Bulls would have gotten Alfred Sengun and Ayo, because I think either way they would have drafted Ayo with the second round pick. I think that would have already been written. Man, that's crazy. Shit. Damn, man. Now I'm pissed off about that a little bit. I'm a little bit pissed off about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit pissed off about that. People in Chicago would have been like, well, keep in mind, well, we brought in Marko Simonovic that same offseason, so maybe you don't do that. Zion Williams seems like an Acme pick as well. 6'9" with the wingspan. That's fair as well. That's fair. Corey Kispert is another player that would have fit that type of style that AK likes to draft as well. Well, Kuminga was already off the board, Arbal. So that's why I think I would have. That's where my mind went to first as well. But he would have been off the board. So, all right, we're gonna get this dude out of here because he's saying stupid shit. Hey, can we still get Sengun, but it'll cost DeMar in Portland first? I still don't think that gets it done at all either. Pablo back on his Josh Giddey shit. That's funny. That's funny. Serious question. If we win tonight, what does that mean from Lil Famo? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I don't like quoting Drake albums, but everything. No, nothing is the same. Right? Was that the name of the album? I don't know. I don't listen to Drake albums. Everything would have stayed the same. Nothing changes. There's nothing that changes. Nothing that changes. Joe the Blacksmith says it's hard to get a bunch of superstars to play effectively together. They start stepping on each other's toes, so to speak, and there ends up being big holes in the team, namely hustle stat. Great point on that one. Is Giddey still there? He's been playing. He's been playing. If we win tonight, I'm predicting a 5th seed. Slight work. That's funny. That's hilarious. I wish I had. No, I don't wish I was on that cocaine, brother. But hey, you gotta have your faith. Gotta have your faith. But yeah, man, I guess we'll see. Let's see if the lineups out yet. I doubt it. The Chicago Bulls have been tripping on getting these damn lineups out here lately. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know why they don't want us to be great. I have no idea why the Bulls don't want us to be great. Jamal says, again, I know it doesn't matter at this point, but I personally like thinking of the what if scenarios. What if we traded Kobe and Pat for Jeremy Grant? Because honestly, he's a guy that we can use. No, Jeremy Grant does nothing for this team. Jeremy Grant would have just added to the fact of a player who puts up a bunch of stats and does not contribute to winning. You don't want to trading Kobe, and that was never really an actual trade that was going to happen. Those contracts didn't even come close to matching Jeremy Grant's contract, but there's no way it would have been traded. I said that then. But no, Jeremy Grant wouldn't have helped us in a slight bit right now, not even a little bit. Having Jeremy Grant on this team would have been the same thing as Josh Giddey in the 30 and over club. It's no prospects. There's no prospects in there for you. None. No prospects in there for you. Y'all see Milwaukee game. We're not losing the rest of the year. That's funny. That's hilarious. LaVine funny, stay a Bull this year. He ain't getting moved. AK said continuity is funner. Fun to stand on it. Oh man. The Bulls fans that still talking about trading Kobe clearly don't know basketball. Yeah, that's crazy. You're not supposed to sell crack, not you're supposed to sell the crack, not smoke it. Shout out if you know what that reference is for. You're my type of nerd if you know what that what that reference is from just by me saying it that way. Famo laughing like, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. Have y'all ever seen Josh getting in a 30 and under, a 30 and over club? No. You know why? No prospects. He walk in there and be like, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. Did you say that this is the first year of Billy's extension? If so, why are there still terms secret? Don't they have to report terms? So no, this is the last year on Billy Donovan's contract that he originally signed. So this extension will kick in next year, which is still crazy that we still don't know. We still don't know. I disagree with you about Grant. He can't be your best player on or even second best player, but people say the same things about LaVine. And look at the look at the wins we've gotten. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't see it. I don't think Jeremy Grant would have helped us really much at all, but put up stats and honestly congested the floor even more. But hey, I mean, listen, you never know. If there are no deals that are willing to make, sadly, I see LaVine staying at least until the next offseason. If he goes on a tear the rest of the season, his value will skyrocket, opening better deal. Listen, LaVine is getting traded. They don't go through this whole season with LaVine still on this roster. LaVine is getting traded. That's it. It's going to happen. The lack of complaining to the refs during the last game and not falling down on shots, often trying to get fouls, which then leads to being laid on back on defense, was key last game. So hoping it continues. That's funny, but accurate. Accurate. Hi, bro. How are you doing? Hope the Bulls could get a win tonight. Jimmy, listen, I'm always gonna root for my team to win. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, I'm pulling out things more than just wins for the team. Like I want to see how the team, how the player performs, how the young guys perform in that. Right, those are things I'm looking at a little bit more than just if they get the win or not. Nice, but I just want to see the team execute. I want to see what they bring to the table, things like that. I wonder if Patrick's up and down year allows us to sign him at a bargain like IO. Maybe we get lucky and he breaks out consistently in the next year or two. I mean, listen, that is a likely outcome, right? Is that because of the season Patrick Williams has had, that him and the Bulls reach an extension, and at that point in time, we hope that he's going to hit that ceiling over that next two times, whatever that is, really develop out. So we'll see. His contract hasn't even been secret for over a year. That's crazy. That's wild. Brandy Nicole, Zach really thought he was that guy. He should have left the money on the table and tested the market last season. I mean, I mean, the market is the market. Like he was going to get the max regardless, and the Bulls could offer him the most of that max. So I don't know what testing the market would have really done differently. I think ultimately he still would have came back here, but this is the story. This is where we find ourselves at right now, unfortunately. The Bulls need to fire the scouts. Okay. Jimmy Sabrinsky says, I'm a big fan of your channel. First of all, we don't have fans at this channel. We have family. Like much like Fast and Furious, it's family. No, but yeah, listen, I'm nobody to fan over, and the channel isn't either. We are a community for Bulls fans that is representative, hopefully, of Chicago Bulls fans everywhere. And so, listen, don't call yourself a fan. You're a member of the channel and you're family to the channel. And that's the most important thing. So there you go there. I'm trying to see DT and Phillips play big minutes tonight. And I could tell you that, GFP, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get that, brother. It's not going to happen for you, man. But hey, do you think Jerry's going to give AK secret? Well, he got an extension last year when Billy signed his extension. So they all got secret extensions. I think that's the thing that a lot of people focus so much on the Billy Donovan secret extension that people forget it came out like 2 months after that AK and Eversley also signed extensions. Everybody got it. You get an extension. You get an extension. You get an extension. How long? Don't worry about it. It's on the contract. We won't tell our fans, though, because we're going to be dealing with y'all for a while. So AK did get an extension. So Hey, you still a fan of Fast and Furious? Yeah. I could be a fan of something and realize that the last couple of movies has been mad questionable, yo. But I did like the last one. I liked Fast X. I did. I liked it. I liked it more than I thought I was going to coming into it. So it is what it is. I agree that we can probably get Pat at a bargain unless the small market team makes a big offer, which is possible. But I think that would get awkward, like the PJ Washington thing. Well, the benefit is that the Bulls have the power to match any deal that he gets. So, it is what it is there. That goes without saying. Somebody said send Zach to the back of the yards and let him really see Chicago. Oh, that's funny. Listen, Zach LaVine ain't ready for that life. He's not ready for that life. Brady Nicole in the building. Zach and Debo would be riding the oak from here on out. A lot of people share that opinion. Yo, Haize, whatever this iteration of the next phase is post Zach, do you want to see Vooks be the number one scoring option like he was when Zach missed several games last week due to the new injury? Listen, I can't say until we know what the roster is going to look like. I really can't say that. I think that I think Kobe's ready to take on a larger scoring load as well. But we'll see. It depends on how the roster shapes up. Everyone gets an extension, including our losing record. That's fun. Now that's funny. That's funny. First time all season, I'm excited to watch the Bulls play. Well, hey, there you go. 205 accounts and only 30 plus likes. Haize, glad to see what's going on. Eads, glad to have you in the building. So them strapping a rocket on a car wasn't too. No, it was absolutely too much. I'm still a fan of the franchise. Lineups out yet? The lineup is out. Look at them getting the lineup out closer to 30 minutes before game time. Let's take a look at it. Starters: Kobe White, Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic. That's the lineup. There you guys go. Hey, I said scoring load. Make sure I said scoring load. And I did that intentionally, you goddamn bastards. Sadoko. How often do you watch games from the glory days? Not often. Probably not as often as you would think. Not too often. I don't watch a lot of old games. Occasionally, I'll go and watch an old game, but generally I don't. I watch so much basketball nowadays, right? Like, especially now that I'm doing the Windy City Bulls review, which will be out tomorrow. Like, a lot of my time is taken up watching basketball games. Don't really have a lot of time to go back and watch the older games, but I may do that over the offseason, which is the last time I did watch a throwback game. I watched that game. This is deep cut. Only real Bulls fans will remember this. It was Derrick Rose's rookie year. We had a game against the Houston Rockets, and it was one of the first games that you realize, oh no, Derrick is going to be a superstar. Because in the second half of that game, Derrick shot like 3 or 4 threes back to back. And keep in mind, he was never at that, especially that rookie year, was not a consistent 3-point shooter. And it was just like the Houston Rockets couldn't do shit with Derrick Rose. I watched that game over the offseason. I was like, I just want to watch that game. I have such fond memories of that game. Do you randomly click on MJ clips just to remember why you became a Bulls fan? No, because I know why I became a Bulls fan. Like, I've never been detached from my fandom. And that's why I always say, like, I'm not somebody who can go in and out of being a fan of a team just because of where the team is or if they're doing things that I like or not. Like, I'm a diehard. It is what it is. Archangel says, my mom informed me she thinks Kobe White is super cute. File that under things nobody needed to know. That's hilarious. That's funny. Your mama want to pull Kobe hair. Would you take CP, Kuminga, and picks for LaVine? I might, depending on the picks. I'm looking at teams that might get desperate and the Warriors are outside the play-in. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I have to think on that one. If DeMar ain't putting out effort on defense, really need to bitch him and put IO in. No, because listen, you don't play DeMar DeRozan and expect effort on defense. Yo, Haize, what teams around the league are you disappointed in that you had expectations for, and what squads caught you by surprise that are doing better than you thought? Great question there. One of the teams that I'm surprised is doing as bad as what they are is the Memphis Grizzlies. I really, for those that don't know, I really like the Grizzlies roster. I still think they should sign Dwight Howard so that when John Morant comes back, they can call him Guns and Buns. But outside of that, like I'm really surprised that team is struggling the way that they are. A team that's the flip side of that that's doing better than I expected. Hmm. I don't really know if a team's doing much better than I expected, to be quite honest with you. Maybe the Houston Rockets, even though they're only at 500, but because I expected that team to be god awful and trash. So guns and buns. Yes, guns and buns. Not gonna lie, I don't think there's a way for us to win the Zach trade. I think it's us limiting the loss. We won't even get close to 90% of what people think we'll get. Well, no, I think you gotta temper your expectations. Some people are trying to get things like, oh, well, we're gonna like you're not gonna get RJ Barrett. Like people even say, like for DeMar, you're not gonna get that, right? But it's about setting yourself up, getting the right pieces. So the Orlando Magic and the Timberwolves are looking better than I thought. That's fair. You know what? Yeah, the Orlando Magic. I don't like giving the Orlando Magic credit. I don't know why I'm so petty with Magic fans, but yeah, they're the freaking second team in the Eastern Conference right now. Who the hell had that picked out, right? Why would you want a terrible player like Bronny James on this team? Like, I like what are fans thinking? Bronny James is a terrible NBA prospect. God awful. No. And you really want 40-year-old LeBron James on your team? Come on, man. What you thinking about, bro? Who's out for the Pelicans tonight? I think the Pelicans come in relatively healthy. Let me double check. Let's see their injury report. Matt Ryan, Trey Murphy, CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum's out. Oh, CJ McCollum is out today. That wasn't originally on the report. CJ McCollum is out today for the Pelicans. Okay. Crazy Bulls fans. Zach for Steph. I put it in the trade. Oh man, listen. No, you know what's been worse than the trade machine lately? It's Bulls fans saying, "Oh, I made this trade on 2K. I won a title in 2K." Nigga, you think it's that? Damn, you know what? Fuck. You think it's that easy? Like, come on, man. Like, anytime you having an actual basketball conversation with somebody and they respond, "Oh, I did it on 2K. It was fire." Just go ahead and walk. Just walk. Don't even say bye. Just turn around. Do the sexual chocolate. I'm out and just walk off. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just walk off. Just walk the hell off. Just walk the hell off. I really think the Bulls can take this dub tonight. I just never know what to expect from this team. Facts, Alex. You never know what to expect from this team. Trade machine on handy for salaries, and it barely does that right. Exactly. Exactly. I thought Lonzo was supposed to be traveling with the team. I do think I've seen him accept. Oh, you know why? No, his doctors are in LA. Lonzo was supposed to be traveling with the team. Keep in mind, he needs to be in rehab. Lonzo is exactly where he is. Exactly where he is. Bronny's catching. That's not a stray. That's directed. Bronny James sucks. That's what I got. That's not a stray. Let's be clear here. It's not a stray. And I hope that he can see it. And if LeBron James got a problem with it, that bald head motherfucker can come see me too. Bronny James is going to be a terrible NBA prospect. Just watch what I say. Watch what I say. Bronny James is absolutely going to be a god awful NBA player. God awful. Just is what it is there. Is it bad that I still want them to try to get Michael Porter Jr.? I think he would be a good fit on this team. That's funny. They're not letting him go. But listen, Michael Porter Jr. wanted us to draft him so bad, man. Now this I agree with. Bryce is a way better player than Bronny. I completely agree with that. Bronny James is god awful. It just sucks. He sucks. Like, he sucks. But all right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up the stream, man. We got 15 minutes of game time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will be back here at halftime, so make sure you guys stay tuned in for the halftime hangout. Hit the subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed to the channel as well. Make sure you're following the show at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, and I'll see you guys at halftime.